news in North Atlanta. This is Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613.
All right, IJ Rosenberg here on a Monday as we start our third week of shows of the Georgia High School Sports Daily on Peachtree Sports TV, and a lot of different ways to get us. Don't forget to check out the Atlanta News First app. It's a really good app. Our game Friday nights are on there. Everything that we really do is on the Atlanta News First app. That's CBS, the old CBS 46 that they changed the names for. But good group of people to be a partner with, so you can always check it out, us out there. You can also go to our YouTube channel, which has all the shows on it. And Peachtree TV, by the way, if you want to tell people, is available on all the cable networks, Comcast as well. It's an over-the-air channel 17.2, so if you have an antenna in your home, you can get it that way, or on YouTube television. Well, before we get to anything, Craig, I guess, we were all at and we'll talk a little bit more in depth about this later in the show, as the Ring of Honor we displayed last night, Score Atlanta, which really went well. It was a heck of an atmosphere at the Benz last night. I mean, it's one of the best atmospheres I've ever been to, and I think there were a lot of Chief fans there, and I think that really added to it. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I felt my takeaway was a very unique atmosphere because you had the great Ring of Honor celebration, but that really permeated throughout the entire game. All the hot dogs, it's pretty crazy.
Joey Chestnut
made an appearance. There were celebrities everywhere, so it was a regular season matchup.
T.I.
The Chiefs, it was a real even game, but it just felt unique. It was a lot of fun. I think even though Falcons fans were disappointed, I don't think anyone had a bad time.
Well, and I also don't, look, the play calling late, running the ball, that's what they are. The interesting, you really saw last night why the Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. Yeah. They play, and I'd like to get Najeh involved in this just before we go to the headlines, but they play such a simple game. They brought a kid in, they lost their running back, so they went to basically a fullback situation. Kid from Ball State and UCLA picked up like 8. He was impossible to stop. Guy had a ponytail and everything. Yeah. Najeh, I'll tell you, the Chiefs are impressive. They just basically did what they needed to win the game. They didn't do anything too crazy at the end. They weren't going to give the ball up, so the Falcons were able to get it back. Falcons drove back down there. Chiefs said, hey, we're selling out on the run, so, throw the ball, and the Falcons decided to go with their strength against the Chiefs' strength, and in the end, the Chiefs came up with the big play.
Yeah. Najeh, I want to hear your take from it.
Yeah, talk about Nick Bolton, man. He had that game-saving tackle at the end. He was all over the field on Sunday night. Did his thing. I think that's number 32 for you guys. I think the player you guys referred to is Carson Steele, number 42, man. Talk about trusting your players. Shout out to Andy Reid for that. He had a fumble against my Bengals last week, and you depended on him a lot last night, and he had a big game. And also Rasheed Rice, he had a game coming up big over 100-plus yards receiving. So, incredible atmosphere. Apparently, it sounds like Kirk Cousins checked to that play, that run play to Bijan, and the Chiefs were ready for it. But I thought it was a great back and forth. And how about Justin Simmons picking off Patrick Mahomes again for a pick 6 at the start of the game? It was just electric. So shout out to the Chiefs and the Falcons. That was a great Sunday night game.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wasn't that Simmons' 6th all-time interception on Mahomes?
Yes.
That's a crazy stat. And honestly, Mahomes has had a bad pick thrown in every game so far. That was a pretty bad one.
Well, and I think that's why they were happy, not happy to go 3 and out, but they weren't going to do anything crazy on that drive at the end of the game where the Falcons got back to ball. All right, let's go to our fast break Monday headlines. The first one, East Coweta upsets defending state champion Perry 31-15. Coweta kicker Aaron McWilliams gave the Indians a 3-0 lead midway through the second quarter. Perry answered with a touchdown to go back up 6-3. But then really the game broke out. Jason Stiegel returned the ensuing kickoff 96 yards to the score to put Coweta back on top 10-6. Coweta got a field goal, and then it was really Perry got a field goal to get close, and they were actually able later in the game to cut the deficit to 17-15 with about 9 minutes left. But then Stiegel returned to the end zone on a 54-yard touchdown run, and Perry goes down.
Yeah.
That's an upset, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And so the reason I wanted to highlight this game, I wrote this recap. So Perry took a lead. It was 6-3 with about 12 seconds left in the first half, and they gave up a kick return touchdown. So that lead disappeared, and then I feel like that's when the game was lost. And then it's iced with a 96-yard pick six. Coach Kevin Smith is an unbelievable head coach, and I know he's going to be not happy with those two big plays they gave up.
Najeh, you want to talk about the Athens? We talked a lot about the Athens Academy Commerce game last week.
Yes, sir. Incredible finish, 29-28. Athens Academy jumped out to a 14-0 lead. They beat Johnson. He was able to get touchdown runs. Commerce was able to tie it up. Jaden Daniels was magnificent. This game into a 96-yard touchdown pass to Sean Wiggins, who's been turning it up this year as well. Ended up tying the game after a fumble by Athens Academy, 21-21, and obviously a 98-yard touchdown I talked about. And then Johnson, for Hampton Johnson of Athens Academy, converted a fourth down with 1:06 left in the game. Clinton broke loose for a touchdown with 44 seconds left to cut the deficit to 28-27. Keon Stanford, who we've been talking about a lot on our show, took the two-point conversion on the end around to provide the game-winning two-point conversion. So shout out to him. He's been magnificent all year long, and he would have played a big part in winning that game. An incredible finish between Athens Academy and Commerce.
Yeah, it was a heck of a game. I think Kirby Smart was at that one also. He started at the Moon game and finished there, so he got to see some good football.
All right, Creekside, Najeh?
Yes, sir. Terrible news. You've seen on the broadcast, but head coach Maurice Dixon, his son Hayden Dixon suffered a gruesome leg injury. Hate to see it. He's a sophomore quarterback for the Seminoles. Suffered doing about 7:52 left in the third quarter in the 31-0 victory against Mays that halted play for about 15 to 20 minutes. He was taken off in a stretcher to help stabilize his leg, and he was taken into the ambulance to the hospital. Dixon is working his way back before that injury from a broken tibia suffered in the offseason, and it was his first full game back for the Seminoles. A little bit about Dixon. He played in our Georgia League Classic during his 8th grade year. His offers from Pitt, Toledo, and Western Michigan. He will be out per report 6 to 8 weeks and is suspected to make a full recovery from the injury. It's a bad long leg break. So wishing him and Coach Dixon nothing but the best, sending prayers to them as well as he gets a full recovery.
Yeah, I was actually in communication, Najeh, with Maurice over the weekend, just asking about his son. I'll tell you the one little scary thing that went on during that situation was there was no ambulance at the stadium. And which, typically is, I think that's almost every county. You have to have an ambulance, at the stadium, or most of the time you have to have an ambulance in the stadium. But that's why it took so long for them to, to take care of them. I know you got this Duluth won I don't want to say they won a big one, but they won by a lot. It's like James Madison scoring 70 in North Carolina.
Yeah, I have never seen anything like it. So this was Max had the full recap of it. It was a 90-0 win over Meadow Creek by Duluth. This comes 1 week after their loss to Norcross. Duluth's a good team. This is a little surprising of just how lopsided it was. Defensively, I think they held them to negative yards in this matchup. Duluth's previous record for points was 65 points in a game. It did that in the first half and then added 3 touchdowns late. So it's just a huge win. The last time someone scored 90 points was in the 2017 or 2020 playoffs. It was Lowndes against Hillgrove. And then this is the most lopsided loss in quite some time. So if you are interested in this full recap, go to the Week 6 roundups on scoreetail.com.
Yeah, Max did a great job on that.
It's got all the scoring, all the records, but just a crazy result. Shout out to the Wildcats on that one. All right, so then real quick, let's go to headline number 5. Some good news. Callaway's Tyron Bugs returns from an ACL surgery with a big performance. It was his first game back. He is a running back, linebacker, and kick returner. He had 10 carries for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. The 6'1" senior has leaned out from his previous playing weight at 200. He's 190 pounds, and that is a good sign for him. This kid is playing for his football future, wants to pick up some offers, and a big performance like that for the Cavs who are rising in the polls is a good way to do it.
Do we have video of this first? Oh, the North Cobb game. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the North Cobb game. That was our TV game. Wasn't really much of a game. I think North Cobb really proved, at least on the skill side, how much talent they have. Very good team. They win 42-14. Walton stayed in it in the first half, but that was about it.
Yeah, this game completely blew open. It was competitive, and I was actually surprised how Walton went 10-10 for them. But you saw North Cobb, credit to them. They've had fast starts this season, but the way they've closed in each of these games has been truly impressive. And played great in the second half, and they seem to just get better and better. I really like this team, and you can tell they've taken that step forward from last year.
All right, let's go to the electrifying play of the game, and that's first half. Nick Greenstead finds Steele Ingram for a 37-yard touchdown. Great combo right there. Quarterback very impressive. And then the second half, Micah Billingsley 45-yard touchdown reception right here. But this, I'll tell you what, this North Cobb team is going to be tough once we get to the playoffs. I mean, they're really good. I mean, they've got big kids, big running back. A quarterback is really impressive, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience, and you said it. They've got big guys in the backfield, big physical receivers, a lot of big play capability. And I like the way they won the turnover margin. That was a huge question mark going into it. They didn't drop the ball up. They forced it for Walton to beat themselves, and I thought it was a very impressive road victory.
What, real quickly, though, as far as North Cobb is concerned, if you just look at them and compare them to just looking at the kids, I mean, there's really, I mean, it's amazing how much, they just look like men. I mean, they really do. How big's Najeh? How big is the quarterback?
I think he's like 6.62, I believe, for Nick. The thing that's been impressive with him is his progression. Like he's a good dual threat. His ability to be able to extend plays and improvise and just look like the game has slowed down for him. So I've been really impressed with his play so far this year. He tore it up against Walton again, and I think he's going to be a large reason why potentially North Cobb can make a deep run.
I think we have a graphic from our picks from Friday. I got that one wrong. You guys both picked North Cobb in that one. But once again, IJ took it.
Which game did I lose? I got to look that up. Najeh, you remember which game I lost?
Yes, hold on. Let me see.
And Najeh and Craig, I sit here, I don't follow this stuff at all. You guys are high school guys. All right. How the heck do I go 7-1? You two guys go 5-4.
I got the DT. We both got that one. I'm trying to think.
Glen Academy, IJ.
Oh, Glen Academy. Yeah, that was a big upset. I think all of us lost that one. All right, coming up, we've got the rankings report on the Georgia High School Sports Daily.
This makes my dad proud. He
Sorry,
went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like we are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is your trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. Practice, the games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their athletic abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports services without parallel price. You bring the vision. Our team brings it to life.
This makes my dad proud. He went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like we are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is your trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
Hey, you know how to do this? Man, I don't even know. I was flipping burgers last week.
Violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, impersonating a craftsman.
Skilled trade unions are well-trained career pros, not part-time. Structure is a rewarding and lucrative career with advancement potential, but you have to do it the right way with the right training. Learn how you can be a pro. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, IJ Rosenberg, Craig Sager, Najeh Wilkins here on the Monday edition of the Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local Chapter 613. We'll get to the rankings in a moment. When I was at the game last night, I was one of the ones that pulled the Dion sign, which was good. I mean, because I've had to deal with Dion both as a football player and a baseball player when I was at the AJC. But I met Jimmy Urza, who, of course, was a quarterback at North Gwinnett for a couple years. His brother was a really good player. Both of them quarterbacked North Gwinnett during the late, like around 2000, I think 16 to almost 2019 and stuff like that. Very nice guy. Works for the Falcons right now. Played Division II ball at Mars Hill. But it was kind of cool seeing somebody that, we put on TV before. Kid was very complimentary of a lot of things. Good-looking kid. Now working in the group ticket office for the Falcons. But, it's fun sort of to find out what some of these guys are doing. And his brother, by the way, works for the Georgia Swarm. So, anyway, let's get to the...
That was the quarterback that played Norcross in the championship that year where Norcross ended up winning.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Norcross rivalry.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and I think that was the Alvin Kamara year. I think it was the Alvin Kamara year. It was one of their back-to-back, state championships at Norcross. All right, let's go to the football rankings. Not a tremendous amount of switching around in 6A. Pretty much everything fell Friday night the way it was supposed to.
Yep, and so our score landed poll, it differs slightly from Todd's, not too much. I think I have North Cobb at 9, he has him at 10, but neither of us moved any of the teams this week, which is pretty rare. But Carrollton, they handled business. They went over to Parker, had a big win. We'll see if that's reminiscent of what happens this week when Georgia goes over to Alabama. Buford had a nice shutout in their 46-0 win over Discovery. Teams that were off this week: Camden, Douglas County, and Bob Houston.
Yeah, so a little bit surprised you still got North Cobb at 9, but I think that'll change as the season goes on. All right, let's go down to 5A, where Milton just continues to roll and stays on top. Milton Hughes, Thomas County Central, Coffee, and Gainesville, the top 5, Najee.
Yeah, no major movement here, kind of the same as 6A. Obviously, Hughes has looked good. I think he's one of the best contenders when you look at it of challenging Milton. Christian Langford had 3 touchdowns in their win this past week, 57-14. He's looked the part. Thomas County Central, I think, could be dangerous. They got a big-time game coming up against Lee County, so I got both of them in the top 10. Want to see kind of how that matches up. That's going to probably shift the polls a little bit this upcoming week as well. Houston County, I still like them and what they're able to do. And then Roswell picked up a big win against Secondary 41-14. Did their thing. They look like a really good team. And Rome picked up another region victory. So still keep my eye on Rome. They won 2 consecutive games since going 0-2. And they look like they're going to probably win that region.
Yeah, and look, they've got wins over East Paulding. They beat up on Alexander Friday night. I think it is very smart to always include them up there until they're out of it, because Rome, like you said, they'll win that region. They'll be a number 1 seed, which is going to help them. Hey, real quickly, guys, that's another big thing this year is the seeding and stuff like that, and trying to finish. I mean, the number 1 seed is, it doesn't matter what sport it is. Okay, in the GHSA, it means so much because, especially in football, it really guarantees you 2 home games.
Yeah, and I think in the Class A, the 3A, because there's not even 32 teams in it, I think the number 1 seeds are going to be getting a bye, so that is very valuable for them, especially. So this is going to be a situation where 3A down plus the combined private, you're going to have the seeding play a huge factor in the power rankings and ultimate the playoff seeding. I'll go ahead and look at 4A right now. I think this classification is starting to become a little more interesting. It was hard to pin a number 1 early on. I still like North Oconee. Most schools will have Marist up there. They had another big win over Druid Hills, easy 55-7 victory. West Virginia, though, at number 4. If you look Class A through 3A in Prince Avenue. They've beaten Hebron Christian now. Now they're going to play Savannah Christian. And if they win this game, which I think it's a favorable matchup, we'll talk about it, of course, this week, where Savannah Christian's going to want to run the ball. BT's run defense has been probably the best I've seen in 4A. I think they're very dangerous, but they're still sitting at the number 4 spot. And then the new team for me in 4A this week, I put Creekside in there. They had a huge win over Mays. They shut them out. They're starting to play really well. Once they've been back in Georgia these last 2 weeks, they've not given up a single point. And I think this is when we start to see Creekside really start to play well and prepare for the playoffs. So they already representing a lot of pools, but I'm telling you, I think Creekside is definitely a top 10 team.
Real quickly, Craig, I mean, you talked about Blessed Trinity. I mean, the fact that they were able to hold up against the best team in the state, Milton, and right now you guys have them at 4, but I think that gives, if you can play Milton the way they played Milton in 4A, I think you have a chance to win it. You agree?
Yes, their defense is as good as anyone. And offensively, Brooks is doing a good job. They aren't relying on him too much, but they control the pace of the game, and they make you one-dimensional. It is so hard to run the ball against them. They're averaging, I think, defensively, they're giving up just like 50 or 60 yards, which is unheard of. And so this can be a really big test, but I think if they can force Savannah Christian to try to pass the ball and take away the run with Zoe Smalls, it would be a huge win, and people really will start talking about BT as a main contender in 4A.
Najee, take us to 3A.
Yes, sir. So obviously at 1, I keep it. I have Sandy Creek at 1, Peach County 2, Long County 3, West Oakland 4, Monroe area 5, Jefferson 6, LaGrange 7, Northwest Whitfield 8, Mary Person is 9, and 10 Cherokee Bluff. So Peach County for the first time this year is the number 2 team. I also moved up Long County, so some major movement there. I really like the quarterback DJ Hudson. He's been doing his thing this year. Led him to another big victory this week against North South Warner Robins. They have been impressive all year long. So I really like Peach County as a contender to Sandy Creek. Sandy Creek picked up another big win. Upson Lee, they dropped out of the poll this week after the 3rd loss, and this one's Whitewater. So I moved to Cherokee Bluff. Did have an idle week. I like what Coach Jones is doing over there, Coach Tommy Jones is doing over there, and like it could be a team that can make a little bit of noise in the playoffs. It could be a hard out. So that's some of the major movement. Jefferson, Monroe area kind of kept them the same, but I moved up Peach County and Long County this week.
All right, let's go down to 2A quickly.
Yeah, Long County and 3A, they've been having a great run. All right, so in 2A, Carver Columbus, they're at number 3. We've talked about Pierce County and Morgan County, but this last week, a 49-0 win over Columbus. They held Columbus to minus 10 yards, so a really strong performance by the Tigers. I like them a lot. Callaway moved up this week 1 spot, and then Appleton County as well. Sumter County held on to number 7. They had a really contested win over Shaw 15-14, but I did not move them down. They are still 5-0.
All right, let's go down to Class A Division 1 with Toombs County on top.
Yeah, so Toombs County, you have Dublin, Fitzgerald, Fannin County, Thomasville. Top 5 here did not really change from last week, all picking up pretty impressive wins. The back end of this poll did change a lot. Raven County stayed at 6, but Bremen, Dodge County, Jeff Davis, and Northeast. Northeast made their debut in the poll for the first time this year. Nick Woodford has been having a great year, 238 yards, and I believe 4 touchdowns this past week. Buckley County is audible, dropped out of the poll after dropping to 2 and 3. So I got them out, and then Jeff Davis suffered his first loss of the season to Brantley County, 28-21. And Dodge County at number 8 also made their debut in the poll for the first time this season, 46-27 victory against East Lawrence.
All right, let's go to Class A Division 2 real quickly.
Here you have Bowden, Irvin County as well. You have Manchester, Clinch County, Treon, Greene County, Metter, Lincoln County, and Seminole County, and then Brooks County there. So Brooks County hung up to this top spot. They a 47-yard field goal by Pierce County, incredible. Second longest in their history to beat Brooks County. So I kept them in even though they're 2 and 3. I still think they are a major contender here. Bowden, Irvin County didn't change too much, and Clinch County had a bye week. So not too much movement, but a couple teams hanging on by a thread.
And then, of course, Class A through 3A, private.
All right, Darlington had a nice win over Harrison County this week, but I want to look at 1, 2, and 3 because we're going to get to see all 3 of those teams play Blessed Trinity. BT's already beaten Prince Avenue Christian. They have the game-winning field goal late, but really dominated that matchup. They had a dominant win over Hebron Christian, and so now we get to see them play Savannah Christian. We will have a great idea with a common opponent on how those teams stack up.
Well, when we get back, we'll talk some flag football. Flag starts in about a week. We'll talk to McEachern coach Jake Burgdorf. Ashley, can we talk? Let's talk to Grant.
Barely. Yes. I can. Georgia High School Sports Daily is presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
All right, welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. IJ Rosenberg here at the Score Atlanta TV studio up here in Roswell. And, of course, Craig Sager joining me here. And then we've got Najeh Wilkins on Zoom. Real quickly, I thought, I take that back. We got Jake Burgdorf. Jake, we're going to get to you in a second. I got to ask you one question, though, about the Falcons, because we were all out there last night and stuff. Some of the non-calls, especially on that second to last drive, I mean, I can't believe they missed the face mask. I mean, he almost took his head off. And then the no call on Pitts. I mean, when a back turns his head, okay, to the quarterback, I saw the interview afterwards where the official said they weren't in good position. Well, if you're not in good position there, that's on you. I mean, because everybody in the place saw that it was interference.
That's right. And then I was with my family, and then after the game, they're like, "What do you think people are saying?" I was like, "They're saying that the Chiefs got all the calls." They're like, "I didn't see that." I was like, "Just wait for it." And then, yeah, you go online, you see the post replay. The face mask, I thought that one was pretty bad. The guy's helmet got turned around. You usually see that. And I mean, the Falcons sideline, they saw it was right in front of them.
Anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about the Ring of Honor next segment. We've got Jake Burgdorf. He is the head football or flag coach at McEachern High School. He's also been a good friend as Score Atlanta is moving heavy into flag football. Jake, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on. How are y'all?
No, we appreciate it. So tell us where you're at. I guess everything gets going. Of course, we've got the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Flag Classic coming up. But I guess you guys get going next week, correct? Pretty much with the games?
Yeah, we do. Our scrimmage is the next Monday. We're currently on fall break right now, so we're just excited to get going and appreciate the opportunity to participate in the Corky Kell this year.
Hey, Jake, talk a little bit about your involvement. You coached for McEachern on the football side for a while. We've talked about this. But tell everybody why you made the decision to make the jump to flag.
Sure. Yeah, I coached wideouts at McEachern for my first 7 years at McEachern, and decided to. My daughter was born at the time, and I had never coached girls before, and saw it as an opportunity to kind of take a step back, spend a little bit more time at home with my family, helping my wife out with her newborn, and stepped into the girls' flag world, and I've loved every second of it since. And I don't know if I'll ever see myself going back, to be honest with you.
Well, and we're talking to Jake Burgdorf, the head flag coach at McEachern High School. I get it. I do. I had two girls. I wish they would have had the opportunity to play flag football. But Jake, talk a little bit about how quickly flag football has become so popular. It's really incredible. I mean, we were at the Falcons game yesterday, and of course the Falcons and Arthur Blank, probably the main reason why flag is where it's at right now. Guys like you have taken it to the next level, but somebody had to get in there with the money and the organization, and the AMB Foundation, Arthur's Foundation, did that. And it's pretty impressive how quickly this thing has grown in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, the very first season, they piloted a handful of schools in Gwinnett, and after that first season, it caught on really quickly, and just a bunch of schools were wanting to get involved with it, and it has just grown exponentially every year. Every single year, we're adding more and more schools. Pennsylvania just sanctioned the sport, the state of Pennsylvania, so I think that makes the 14th state to have it as a sanctioned sport. And so it's just going to continue to grow throughout the United States, throughout the nation, and obviously it's continuing to grow at the college level as well. We're just thankful for Arthur Blank and the Falcons, with how they've been involved to help get this going in the state of Georgia, funding new programs for jerseys and equipment and everything needed, and we're just really thankful for their involvement.
Correct.
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask you, you guys have been practicing, you're working on the plays, but what's the biggest difference between practice and the game?
Honestly, we try to make practice harder than the games. We have enough coaches and players to where we can. I'm able to run things like I would if I were the head coach of a tackle football program. And we get a ton of reps. We're able to two-platoon kids. We have some players that play both ways, but most of our players are just strictly offense or just strictly defense. And we're able to, scrimmage each day of practice, do situational, work on 2-minute drill, 2-minute, drives, extra point periods. We just try to throw every single situation at them during practice that they may see, during a game, during the season. And a lot of this is perfected over the summer. When I was coaching tackle football, you win and lose games over the summer, and we brought that philosophy with us to flag. And so this summer we had roughly 40 to 45 girls out of practice, workouts every single day, and that is, and hopefully that brings us along and helps us have a really successful season.
And we're talking to Jake Burgdorf. Remind me, I've got an envelope sitting on my desk with your name on it. So when I see you next week, remind me. I'm gonna put it in my car for you and make sure you get it. Because we look forward to having you at West Forsyth. Hey, Coach, tell me this. What do you see in college? How do you see the progression of flag football in college and eventually getting to the D1 level?
So as I'm sure it's certainly at the NAIA level, Division II, Division III, some junior colleges. So it's growing rapidly. The game, it's a little bit different at the college level than it currently is at the high school. They play with different flags. They play with pop flags, which is different than what we play with in high school. We play with triple threat flags. And they also are able to move the ball from hash to hash. In college and high school, it's spotted in the middle of the field every play. But just the game itself, if you can see the growth within teams and the type of athletes that have now come out to flag, that has changed every single year. You're getting better and better athletes coming out, trying the sport, falling in love with it. And that's really helped with the growth of the game. And obviously the coach's knowledge of the game, high school and college, is growing exponentially as well. Just putting these girls in the right positions, the right opportunities to make plays, and that's truly helped the game grow.
Well, Coach, we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. That's October 2nd. Will be 4 games being played at West Forsyth High School that will kick off at 5:30. Greenbrier will face Alatoona, followed by Loganville, Blessed Trinity, North Oconee, Lithia Springs, and then finally, Coach, your team, McEachern, will play West Forsyth. And, of course, all will be televised by the Peachtree Sports Network. Coach, we appreciate your time. Have a good week off. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with Todd Holcomb in a couple of minutes on the Georgia High School Sports Daily.
But journeyman locally at 5, when you turn out, you can be hitting 6 figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back. We're going to do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs. I want to take college where I wouldn't lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? People have your back in the heat of the battle. Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. So we get incentives.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
The Mechanical Trades Institute is an opportunity towards personal financial freedom through hands-on and rewarding work. Our school is completely free and gives apprentices the knowledge and skills required to gain access to a lifelong career plan. Apprentices learn pipe fitting, plumbing, mechanical service, and welding. They earn money as they learn and graduate with no senior debt. Start a career with the Mechanical Trades Institute and change your financial future.
All right, welcome back. Monday's edition of the Georgia High School Sports Daily. And every Monday at this time, we have Todd Holcomb on from the Georgia High School Football Daily. And, of course, their morning newsletter is really good. And I always enjoy it on Monday because it's always a nice wrap-up of what happened on Friday night. Todd, how's your weekend, or how was your weekend?
I would say it was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. No, talk a little bit, we've already gone over the top 10, but talk a little bit about your top 10 and any, sort of big changes that you made.
Well, we didn't really make any because, we did down lower in the highest two classifications. The top 10 stayed the same because there really weren't any major upsets involving, top 10 teams. Really not too many up and down the line. There were a lot of interesting games that didn't necessarily affect the rankings. Something to talk about.
All right, let's move on to this week's, which I always love the segment y'all do. Say it, or it ain't so. Basically, and you talk about the first one, Brantley County ends up being Jeff Davis. Brantley, of course, was a 31-point underdog, but they end up winning 28-21. How did that happen?
Not sure. That's just a great classic upset. You usually don't see them close to mid-season in high school football in Georgia, just because by that time you have a really good sense of how good teams are. Brantley was winless, and Jeff Davis was undefeated. And the 31-point underdog, that's courtesy of the computer maximum rating. So we do our predictions like that with point spread, projected margins of victory. 31-point underdog, and they won. And it was the first time that Brantley County has beaten a ranked team in the same classification in about 50 years.
Let's talk about the Douglas win, the 28-0 win over Cedar Grove. Cedar Grove a 16-point favorite, although, both of us have seen both teams play. We had, of course, both teams in Corky Kell. Cedar Grove really, Todd, is really struggling. It's sort of a shame to see a team that's won, 3 of the last 4 state championships?
Cedar Grove, really Douglas should have been favored there. That was just kind of a computer-generated thing based on history. And, Cedar Grove, their first 3 losses, there were some kind of out-of-state teams, some higher-class teams, so computer kind of forgave that. But then they're playing a team in their own region, and I think we found out Cedar Grove's got a lot of rebuilding to do. They had a lot of graduation losses, a lot of transfer losses, because they hired a new coach, came from outside of the program. I still think Roderick Moore, he's a good coach, and he'll be fine, but it's not going to happen this year or overnight. And also interesting, that game, Douglas, 128-0. That's the first time Cedar Grove has been shut out since 2014. So it was a pretty good feat on defense. Douglas plays great defense. I don't know how good their offense is going to be, but they're one of the top, 3 or 4 teams playing defense in their classification, which is Class 3A.
Certainly. And then, Todd, I want to talk about the Lakeside Evans Glen Academy game. I think this is, when you look at the Maxwell projections, that's one way to judge how big of an upset. But the fact that Glen won that matchup 50-7 last year, and then Lakeside comes out 28-14 victory. What do you think about the Lakeside continuing this undefeated start?
Yeah, it's always good to kind of look at, how you did against an opponent for the previous year, and it's always remarkable when you see a big turnaround. And I think, is Lakeside still undefeated? Is that where they are? I need to go back and check.
Yeah, they're 5-0 for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's terrific. Another team that's around that area. Evans is near Augusta, of course, and west side of Augusta had a big win over Aquinas. It was kind of a toss-up game, but those were probably the 2 best teams in Augusta, and west side won. They're 5-0 for the first time since 2002, I believe. So yeah, west side, Lakeside, over there in the Augusta area, just having these really, really great turnaround seasons.
Hey, Todd, tell us what you think's wrong at Marietta. This is the second straight year they lose to Wheeler 24-17. Wheeler's not a very good team. They were basically 0-5, I think, going into that game. But Todd, this is a team a few years ago that not only won a state championship, but you can make a case is one of the better top classification state championship teams in many, many years. But for the second straight year, Marietta's 1-5.
I don't know. Wheeler, they came in winless, although they had a couple of 1-point losses and had another game because of some weather issues. They had to forfeit, I believe it was. So they're not as bad as it sounds, but at the same time, Marietta 1-5. They play a region in an area where there aren't any bad teams. So if you all of a sudden get a little below average, you're going to be losing a lot of games. You end up 2-8. Just because you can't beat anybody there. There's not any easy wins. So can't explain it. That 2019 team that won it, one of those, at least on offense. So many great players. They had 2 players off that team that are in the NFL, maybe 3.
Should be a 4th.
Yeah, Virginia. So that's an interesting little turnaround. And, it's also a city school that usually city schools can kind of find ways. We've seen in Gainesville and Carrollton to kind of get that extra edge because you don't have to live in the district, to go there. But I guess in Cobb County, that formula just hasn't consistently worked because there's a lot of other good teams around, Walton and McEachern. So people don't just flood to go there. So I don't know. It's tough going in Marietta right now.
Hey, Todd, real quickly, let's talk about the Georgia High School football spotlight today. That was Jeff Bauer, Roswell High School graduate, of course, has gone on, was a coach at Southern Miss. In fact, Roswell is going to honor him at the Hall of Fame. They're going to send their football team there. Bauer was quite a player. I mean, not only in football, but as well as basketball and baseball. Todd, I think he ended up leading all three of those sports to state championships.
Yeah, just a remarkable athlete. People they remember him as the coach at Southern Miss. Had a lot of success there. He's in the Southern Miss Hall of Fame. He had like a 120 and 80 record as a college coach. But he also was a terrific quarterback there in the 70s. First went to Georgia and then transferred up after a year and set school records for passing yards. But yeah, at Roswell, he was a starting quarterback for state championship teams in 1968 and 70. Roswell was a small town in Fulton County, for the country, and then he was on baseball and basketball teams at one state titles. I used to know the trivia on that. I think only like 2 or maybe 3 schools have ever done it, where you win football, basketball, and then baseball, kind of the triple crown in the same year. I think Clinch County did it in the 80s. And it may be the only 2 schools. I mean, it's very rare to accomplish that. He was the best athlete, big man on campus at Roswell at the time, and maybe still the best player ever in a lot of ways.
We're talking to Todd Holcomb, of course, his morning newsletter, the Georgia High School Football Daily, every morning, sends it out very early. I know a lot of people get up and that's the first thing they do. Real quick, your trivia question: through the 2024 signing class, there's been 77 consensus 5-star recruits since the 247 composite began identifying them in 2001. Beside the University of Georgia, which has signed 33 of them, what school has signed the most, which is 7? I didn't pick up on this one. Tennessee has signed 7 of the state's 77 consensus 5-star recruits from 2001 to 24. That's the most of any school beside Georgia, which had 33. Tennessee 7 are Eric Berry, Jabari Davis, Tariq Rogers, Mike Matthews, Juana Morris, DeJuan James, and Derek Tinsley. Today's question, Todd: Brantley Academy, which defeated 31-point favorite Jeff Davis last week for Brantley's first victory of the season, has a unique and colorful nickname. It is an animal that can be seen sometimes around Caney Bay, a swampy area on which the school was built in 1967. What is their nickname? You have any? I don't have any idea.
I'm a bird guy, so it's the Blue Herons.
All right. Hey, Todd.
What I like about that is blue herons are, you can see them flying around the school. It's not like, like grizzlies or longhorns where they get these nicknames and you don't see these animals anywhere near the school. But you can find them there in Brantley County, blue herons.
Hey, Todd, real quickly, how can people sign up? Well, we've got a graphic, but how people tell us how they can sign up for the newsletter.
I would say find us online, Georgia High School Football Daily, and there's a little sign-up link up in the upper right, and it's free. It's a great newsletter, a lot of good information. It's daily, and it's free.
Well, not only that, Todd, I mean, it's excellent. You guys do we've worked together. We worked at the HAC together, and you guys do it. You and Chip and Ted do an excellent job. So great job, and we'll get to see you next week, okay?
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Todd. Todd Holcomb. All right, I.J. Rosenberg, Craig Sager will be back in a couple of minutes on the Georgia High School Sports Daily. right, IJ Rosenberg final segment, Monday, Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613. Craig Sager, Najee Wilkins. Talk a little bit about last night at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, SCORE Atlanta. We were hired and brought in to basically put in the Ring of Honor, the big signs and everything. I mean, it was exciting. I mean, the atmosphere was great. The reveal, Damon Grieve, who of course is on our staff, just really did a tremendous job. This is something that both of us were brought into about 6 months ago, and just figuring out the whole engineering of it and getting it done correctly. I mean, Damon and his guys, you had union guys that were hanging off of the fascias, putting this stuff up. But it was a really fun night, and it's been a long time. I thought the Falcons, with pretty much everything they did, the introduction, T.I., the little girl that rapped with them or sang with them, it was really impressive. This is you can see up top right there was the fascia reveal, and then of course at halftime, Arthur Blank was revealed too, Craig. But there was a lot of vibe at the stadium last night.
Yes, there was. The things that I loved about it was, one, everyone was in their seats to start the game. It's because they had the T.I. concert. It was electric. Another thing, that was the first time I ever went to a Falcons game with the roof open. So that was exciting. I would say that was part of it. It was hot.
Yeah,
there was no air circulation, so that was I wasn't really prepared for that.
Yeah, and it was cool. They had the Appalachian football team there. They had two of their players. Of course, we're talking about the school that had the shooting about 3 weeks ago. They're getting going again. Najeh, it was cool seeing the team there, as well as two of their captains that went on the field. I think everybody has really reached out to that school. I know the Falcons have, and it was just just one of many really good moments last night, Najeh. I mean, there were just a lot of them.
Yeah, it was, and obviously we should give a shout out to the Falcons, what they're doing, not just professionally, but also on our high school level, right? Helping out with the referees, helping out with the Appalachian, and showing that kind of honor to them. And then also just always being in the community and giving initiatives and helping people, right? Using second years, facilities for their training camp. They just do a lot of good stuff for the community. It was a great night, and I just wanted to shout out too. You guys also got a shout out on TV from NBC 11 Alive. They talked about the helmet wall and some of the high school football teams. So I thought it was a great night, honoring obviously a great pioneer and a great person in Arthur Blank. And it was just super special seeing Roddy White and work done there as well.
Well, Najeh, and Craig, Arthur likes to say his quote that he likes to tell people is there is no finish line. And I do think that that's important to remember. I mean, an NFL season, 17 games, I don't think anybody really expected the Falcons. Well, not that they didn't expect to win, but the good thing was they were competitive. But I think the key to all of this is it's much more than a game. It's much more than a win. It was a tough loss, and I know that hurts. But at the same time, I think Arthur and what he's done for the community and what the team has done, Craig, for the community with flag football, and as Najeh pointed out, the officials and different things like that. They'll be one of the sponsors next week. I think it's something that's pretty cool, and we're very fortunate in Atlanta to have them.
Yeah, between the rap concert, Joey Chestnut showing up, there was a Joey.
How many hot dogs did Joey eat? Did you see?
It was like 1 minute. I think it had to be like 15 and a beer jug in 1 minute. It was pretty cool to see. I actually took a video of it for Graham.
Najeh, did they put any of that on TV? Because they actually had some people at the crowd try to eat the hot dogs, and they were drinking the beer, and it was crazy. But
I don't think I remember seeing that, but definitely see some photos and videos of Samuel Jackson, obviously Blake, and some of the players. But no, super cool to kind of see him there, and all the celebs. It's great mention.
Well, the last thing we want to do today is really congratulate Arthur Blank. We work closely with not just the Falcons, but a lot of people across the line with the foundation, the United. I know that I was very proud to be there to see him honored, because I think it was very deserving. Roddy White putting the jacket on him, I thought, and Warwick Dunn was pretty cool. But we'll be back tomorrow. Plenty coming up. Don't forget to check out scoreatl.com. We'll see you tomorrow.
with homework. It's all prepared you for what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
Basic combat training